Here we are together, bearers of imagination, creators of new worlds. It is our imagination that lifts us beyond despair, that whispers, "What if?" and dares us to answer. Today we gather to renew that spark, to embrace the power to dream. Come, let us imagine boldly and worship together. The words of the Reverend Michelle Collins. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 38 in the Gray Book, Morning Has Broken. Notice that the one line reads, God's recreation of a new day, not recreation. Thank you.
Please remain standing while our ushers come forward and light our chalice. Ushers today are Jimmy Marconi and Marcy Jackson.
Hopefully you can hear me. Let this flame be to us a symbol of the wholeness we seek.
Its brightness is spelling blue, lighting the path to faith and hope.
Its glowing reminding us of the sacred bonds that link us to all living things.
Its radiance calling us to cast the light of freedom, justice, and peace upon all the world.
See
Please be seated. Good morning, and welcome to First Parish Church on this glorious spring morning. I'm the Reverend Susan Milner. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and it is my honor and such a pleasure to serve as interim minister to this congregation. We gratefully acknowledge the Patuxet Wampanoag people on whose ancestral lands we gather today. We commit to support and honor their history and culture as our children are doing today with their walk during their time of the service outside to raise just a little bit more money for our Indigenous scholarship. And thank goodness there's a nice day for it. We welcome all of you warmly, members, friends, newcomers, visitors, guests, including, of course, those of you joining us online. We're so glad that you can be here virtually. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whatever your age, your theology, for this 1 hour, we want you to feel like you are part of this congregation and that you are welcome. Everyone's invited to coffee hour following the service. It's through this door, through the parlor, and down at that wing of the building. If you're visiting, please take a red mug so that we can recognize that you're new and offer you a warm First Parish greeting. Very quickly, I have several short announcements. First of all, Polly Landman, our beloved member, her memorial service will be Friday at 11 a.m. And I'm inviting anyone who has memories of Polly at First Parish to meet with me 20 minutes or so after the service in the Fletcher Parlor. I am going to be in that service doing a memory, just a set of remarks just about Polly at First Parish, and if you can share things with me, I would appreciate it. Also, after the service, we have a couple of other things going on. Our Share the Plate guest will be engaging in a conversation with anyone that wants to in the parlor at 11:15, this parlor right here. And I just love saying this, the poison ivy lady will be leading a kid-friendly conversation or teaching down in the chapel at 11:15, teaching folks how to recognize poison ivy. And I know Missy's scratching this morning. Maybe you should attend, Missy. So I think that's everything that's happening. It's a lot. But again, welcome to everyone. And now let us sing the children out if somebody gets us started with Go Now in Peace so that they can get outside. I knew I would forget something in that welcome. I especially want to welcome our guests from Share the Plate, Lois Shapiro, our incredible guest pianist this morning, and also Ted Lillis as our worship associate. We set aside a time once a month to invite you if you have a joy or concern that you would like to either share or just mark by coming forward and lighting a candle and putting it in the sand. If you do want to speak something, please identify your name and pronouns and make it brief because we have so much this morning. Ted, you're going to go down and help people if they're having trouble with the candles. But please come down, line up down this aisle, and then go back down this aisle. It takes a while to get there. Let the spirit move you, folks.
Hi, my name is Liz Chrisman. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm lighting a candle for my daughter and her boyfriend, who just recently bought a house together, and we're so pleased and just hoping all the best, and they have a lot of happy times there.
Hi, I'm Ginny Marconi. I light this candle for my brother-in-law and his adult son. Brendan lost his life after a very difficult life, addicted to drugs all his adult time, that prevented him from really enjoying any of the blessings of life. And now his dad, who is suffering from Parkinson's, is dealing with that grief. And so I just ask you to keep them in your thoughts. Thank you.
I'm Carol Robison. My pronouns are she and her. And my older sister, Ann, out in Arizona, has had one of the most difficult weeks since she lost her daughter in January and her husband in February. May has always been a very joyous month for her. Her birthday is May 5th. Her daughter's birthday is May 17th. Her anniversary is May 18th. And so she's managing. I've been out there a couple of times to spend some time with her. She's been very, very strong, and she's just putting one foot in front of the other. But I just ask you to keep her in your minds and hearts today.
I'm Michael Gardner, he and his and him. I light a candle of sorrow and concern for Martha Noyes and her family. Martha passed away a few days ago after a long struggle and illness, and she was just a lovely person.
My name is Laurie Scalamero, and I am here to wish my son and his future wife, a wonderful marriage next week in Portugal. I'm flying out Monday night, and we're all very excited, and I wish them a long and happy marriage. Thank you.
I'm Karen Sankey, and I'm lighting a candle for my son Gregory, who has been an alcoholic for many, many years, but a high-functioning one, and always thought he could control it, or he could just drink socially and it wouldn't be a problem, and time after time he's learned that that doesn't really work. So on Mother's Day, he called and said he has a sponsor, and he has finally realized that he really can't control it. So let's hope, let's hope he succeeds with this mission. And I'm actually very proud of him that He's done as well as he has.
I'm Sandy Landman Anderson, so I'm relating this for my mom, and I'm just happy to be here, and I may see some of you on Friday, so.
Lighting this last candle for those joys and concerns deeply felt but not yet spoken.
Would you join, please, in a spirit of prayer, meditation, attention, whatever your practice is. Spirit of life and love, teach us to consider also how others experience the world, to understand how my reality and their reality are different, and yet they share qualities of the same core desire. Teach us to listen for shared feelings, for places of connection. Teach us to be curious and open to hearing differences. Teach us to love into brokenness, to give space for, to be patient with healing. Let us be strong in our vulnerability, in our not knowing, in exposing our less than perfect, scary bits to those in front of us. Give us courage to face judgment, scorn, because of the greater good. Let us be disciples of goodness, strong in our knowing that in each human being, in each being, there is a divine light of the soul. Give us the strength, O Spirit, to keep feeling empathy even when we are tired and broken. Let us enter into the silence. May our hopes and dreams take flight on the wings of love. Amen, and blessed be. Our Share the Plate this month goes to a wonderful organization that focuses on those who have been incarcerated unjustly. Donna Savicki of our team is going to briefly introduce our guest who has a few words to say now and more to share with you after the service if you choose.
You wanted me to come up?
Yeah, just to introduce our guest.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. I thought maybe there'd be nobody here on this gorgeous May Sunday, but glad to see you all. I'm happy to introduce Gina Christo. She's the Director of Communications and Development for the New England Innocence Project. Those of you who know me for a while know that our broken criminal legal system has been a major concern of mine for quite a while and continues to be. Gina had hoped to be able to bring an exoneree with her today, one of the people who has benefited from the New England Innocence Project, but unfortunately there was a schedule conflict. However, they promised me that they'll come back in the fall and I'll arrange a time for people to meet with Gina and with an exoneree from the project. So now I'll let Gina speak briefly about the progress.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gina. I'm so happy to be here today. The New England Innocence Project, we work to overturn and fight the existence of wrongful convictions, and we're also the only innocence project in the country that has an exoneree network. So when folks who are wrongfully convicted come out of prison, you know, it's a joyous thing, right? Like they've been incarcerated for 40 years on average, but the transition back into the real world is really challenging. So we support them with that transition through emotional, financial, and social support. And yeah, you know, we've been talking a lot recently about how at the Innocence Project, we really uniquely understand this moment that we're in society because we have been fighting an unjust wrongful conviction system that is now being turned on our immigrant neighbors and our queer people. So we like to say that in many ways we're an original tenet of the resistance. So by supporting the Innocence Project, you're supporting incredibly important work, and also it is a real act of resistance to the moment that we are in this crazy day that we're in right now. And thank you so much to Donna for all your support and for having us. And I would love to have Sean Ellis come back in the fall. He was featured in a documentary on Netflix called Trial 4, which I highly recommend you check out. And he just like inspires me to get up out of bed every day. So I would love for you all to meet him. Thank you.
Please give as generously as you can to this project, which goes to the core of our values of justice and equity.
Good morning. My name is Ted Lillis. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and Lois, that was lovely. Today I'm your worship associate, and I'm very happy to be up here. And today's reading is titled A Prayer for Imagination by Rosemary Watola Trommer. There are so many boundaries in me, so many limitations, prisons, places where a line has been drawn, perhaps by another, perhaps by me. The lines say, stop. The lines say, don't be curious. They say, make yourself small, now smaller. But imagination is the big pink eraser that rubs out the lines, smears and disappears them. And sometimes it's more like a tear, a small rip in the known that bids me look through the lines as if peeking through a curtain. And sometimes the imagination takes a line and bends it, twists it like a clown with a balloon, until what I thought was a boundary becomes bird, becomes crown, becomes flower. Or it turns a line perpendicular, so what I thought was a deadline becomes a path. I want to listen for the voices beyond the boundaries, want to open to what I can't yet see. I want to hear the welcome of the horizon and, like a bell calling me home, let it lead me. And now I would ask you all to rise in body or in spirit. No, not yet. Oh, I jumped. Never mind. I'm going to sit.
Can you remember all the identities that you imagined for yourself as you were growing up? I cast myself as a doctor, a teacher, a parent, a cowgirl, a dancer, an anthropologist, and my favorite, a starship captain in the United Federation of Planets. Some fantasies become a reality of sorts. I did teach English for several years, and well, welcome to the USS First Parish. Emma, you have the con. You have to be a fan. Sometimes we play a role in others' imagination, and it's not always a positive experience. My parents once left me in the care of my sister in the role of babysitter. She was 5 years older than I and somewhat resentful of my presence in the world. So as soon as our parents left, she tied a handkerchief around my eyes, took me into our bedroom closet, which was really a secret elevator, and spirited me to our non-existent attic where shrieking banshees greeted me. That world proved so frightening to me that my parents never again let my sister babysit. Can you remember the worlds that you created for yourself to inhabit, whether they were common or eccentric or totally fanciful? They were a real part of your universe, allowing you to try out who you might be and discover the possibilities. Think of the worlds that have become part of our collective emotional and psychological and moral landscape. Those of Narnia, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Middle Earth, Charlie Brown, Superman, it could go on. Or how about the world fashioned by one of the greatest creative minds of the 20th century, Jim Henson? The Muppets charmed and comforted children and adults, made us laugh even while they showed us a moral universe in which flaws are okay, vulnerabilities are okay, and kindness and understanding are always possible. Some of these worlds endure still with endless reruns, celebrations, anniversaries, new versions. Where does imagination come from? Scientific research says that it may be evolution that compels us to create new worlds. In order to survive, our ancestors and pre-ancestors depended on finding food and shelter in ever new territories. And so they had to envision and seek those new territories. Adapting to that need, the human body developed a system to release dopamine, a neurochemical that gives us a pleasant feeling whenever we repeat an activity that supports our survival. Think about it. Like imagining travel. But as we learned to grow food and needed less to travel, that system made us into explorers and adventurers. Go where humans have never gone before. And now, in the world in which we currently live, some are planning to travel to other planets to strip their minerals when their distant ancestors were simply looking for a decent stand of berries. The science of these things, while interesting, is often reductionistic, isn't it? Whatever the reason it developed, human imagination is more than just a chemical reaction in our brain, at least in a universe of meaning and appreciation and art. It's a powerful force that can make a difference in our lives, that can free us, that can save us. In his book, The Reenchantment of Everyday Life, Thomas More writes, "We tend to consider imagination too lightly, forgetting that the life we make for ourselves individually and for the world as a whole is shaped and limited only by the parameters of our imagination. Things are as we imagine them to be." After millions of human and pre-human ancestors, how did Newton come up with an understanding of gravity? Or Marie Curie of radiation? Those forces had always been there, but until a person could imagine a world in which they could be true and make sense, no one was going to change their understanding of our planet, our universe. And when it comes to individual journeys and struggles in life, all of this is even more personally, relevantly true. It's not about just imagining vocations or occupations, as I started with, but who we really are and who we can be in the world. If we, for instance, experience trauma as children, violence, abuse, racism, rejection, it shapes us in ways that determine our reactions, exaggerating them or inhibiting them, our relationships, our mental well-being, and we may well need help from others to begin to heal from that hurt. But our lives will begin to broaden and hold new possibilities when we imagine ourselves in a way that's not completely defined by the pain and injury of the past. In the poem that Ted shared today, the narrator says, "There are so many boundaries in me, so many limitations, prisons, places where a line has been drawn, but imagination is a big pink eraser that rubs out the lines, smears and disappears them. I want to listen for the voices beyond the boundaries, want to open to what I can't yet see." Someone I know who had a terrible series of traumas in childhood experienced, because of their history, one time of year as a particular trigger, particularly re-traumatizing. And at that time, they would just disappear from other people's lives, stay literally behind a closed door. But one year when no one expected to see them, there they suddenly were at an event. And then again, it was tough. But as I understood it, as I heard them, they had begun to imagine a self that could survive the memories and a world that would let them be not simply a damaged person, but a healing person, a person of possibility. As people in a religious community, we are called to create a world that practices that acceptance and puts love for what people can be at the center. It's so deeply needed just now. I'm so aware right now, because I read about it and hear about it from colleagues, so aware of young people who grow up feeling that they did not fit into the gender that the world thought they were. It was assigned to them, and maybe they could imagine living the truth that claimed them from the earliest days. Maybe they try out their true selves in safe moments, but they also have to grapple with the pain and shame and frustration and right now danger of not being who others expect them to be, tell them they have to be. And in this moment, retribution is ever more a possibility. And here's the thing, fully becoming who we are, any of us, in the way we deserve, depends not just on our imaginations, but on the collective imagination. All of us need a world in which, to understand a world in which assumptions can create prisons, a world in which people grow up without a fair shot of living the way they want, a world in which people's choices are limited by circumstance or prejudice or invisibility. There's a story about a highly active, hyperactive child whose father was always saying about him that he was impossible. He'd say it to the child, "You're impossible." One day in school, his teacher asked all the students what they wanted to be when they grew up. The boy responded, "I just want to be possible." It's what we want for our children and our friends, our neighbors, wherever they come from, whoever they are. We want them and their lives to be possible. We want to be possible. And that means insisting on a world in which everyone's beauty can be imagined. I love the words of spiritual writer John O'Donohue. The imagination retains a passion for freedom. There are no rules for the imagination. It never wants to stay trapped in the expected territories. The old maps never satisfy it. It wants to press ahead beyond the accepted frontiers and bring back reports of regions no map maker has yet visited. In these hard times, when the zeitgeist considers imagination threatening and books are banned, a time when fear wants to etch the boundaries in our minds with indelible ink, we must insist on the necessity of imagination. We must insist on being the erasers. Make sure your children's imaginations give them a lifeline beyond the commercial world of transaction. Feed your own imaginations with stories, music, tales of fantastic worlds reached by time travel or cultures encountering each other. If you feel the world is burning around you, imagine a new and better world that can rise from the ashes. Get yourself a completely natural, self-generated dopamine high, because salvation is just as likely to come from the imagination as from the assumptions of politics. How dated the original Star Trek series that I so loved seems now. Every new world that the crew arrives at pretty much looks like a mound of dirt and rocks on a studio set, remember? And in nearly every civilization they visit for some reason, the women wear veils and the men wear togas. But for years, that world grabbed hold of people with its moral imagination. Although the studio fought it, the crew of the Enterprise became the first truly multiracial cast on television. The show held up civil rights, peace, resisting authoritarianism and altruistic values as defining a world that could be. It showed intelligent beings like the Vulcans learning from their previous violent existence. Producer Gene Roddenberry said he wanted Star Trek to show what humanity might develop into. And in an era of Cold War, in a century of two very hot world wars, it imagined a world where people of the globe work together and literally travel at warp speed to understand and experience the other. Imagination lets us listen for the voices beyond the boundaries. Without leaving this planet, without traveling to another time or place, we can, with imagination, go boldly where we have not gone before. We can create a better world. Make it so. Would you rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing number 163 in the Gray Book, For the Earth Forever Turning. To extinguish the flame. And would you join me, please, in the words printed in your order of service for doing so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let us sing the magic of imagination by which we know one another and learn the lives of eras gone by. Let us sing the magic of creation by which we build the world of our soul and teach its wisdom to others young and old. Let us sing the magic of our lives together, holding and shaping by the movement of breath from heart to lung, all new life that is to come. Those words by Susan L. Van Dresser. Amen. Blessed be. Could we show our appreciation for Lois? Thank you so much for bringing me this. We were honored to have you come again.